on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:06 as we plow through this very busy Monday morning, and should be an important one, actually, as the Anthony Fauci testimony that we just previewed for you will happen starting at 10 o'clock in the subcommittee of the Oversight Committee in the House. Also at 7:05, we'll speak with Joe DeGeneva. At 7:35, we're going to speak with Representative Mike Waltz of Florida. Also at 8:05, Jenny Terre covering the border for the New York Post, as we've now got a mass amnesty offer from Joe Biden. He's really going to be Johnny on the spot there, fixing the border problem that he caused. And then at 8:35, actor, author, activist, director, let's not forget, Nick Searcy will join us. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
Well, good morning. Congressman Waltz is joining us at 7:35. Of course, he's on the Armed Services Committee, Army veteran. Actually, I think he's still in the Army now that I mention it. He's in the reserves and been an outspoken voice about the use of our military and foreign policy and national security issues. I certainly hope that should Donald Trump win the election in November, Congressman Mike Waltz is on the short list for Secretary of Defense or other potential roles that he can actually help fix the problem with our foreign engagements right now. Joe Biden announced over the weekend that there was a roadmap to a ceasefire, as he put it, a three-phase proposal for durable peace in the Middle East. First of all, does anyone think that this guy and the clown show that he's got around him in any way can help orchestrate durable peace in the Middle East? You know, we had durable peace in the Middle East that he inherited. We had defunded Hamas and defunded the corrupt, murderous Gazan government that spent all the money that we gave them on tunnels and rockets trying to kill as many innocent Israelis as possible. We defunded Iran so they couldn't continue to support Hezbollah and Hamas and other the Houthis and other terrorist organizations in that area. Biden gets in, he opens up the spigots, gives all these money to these people, and the next thing you know, there's a major conflict over there because Hamas decided to slaughter over 1,200 and continue to keep our people. So, spare me Joe Biden's plan for a durable peace in the Middle East. But he's calling for a complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from populated areas in Gaza, release of some hostages,
Oh my God.
and some remains of hostages. Think about that for a minute.
I know.
Palestinian civilians can return to their homes in Gaza. They can return right now to their homes in Gaza if they want. And then a surge in humanitarian aid. That's phase one. So I'm sorry, let me be clear here. What exactly does Israel and the victims of this terror attack get
Nothing.
in phase one? We get some hostages?
Some remains.
And some remains of the people that they've murdered. That's it. Amazing.
Twisted.
Phase two, a permanent end to hostilities in exchange for the release of remaining living hostages, the ones who are still alive.
God.
And then Israeli forces withdraw from Gaza.
I love that the release of the remaining living hostages, first of all, remaining living hostages, is phase two.
Yeah.
Right, you guys
Yeah.
gotta wait. You gotta wait your phases, people. You don't get released till phase two.
Phase three, major reconstruction plan for Gaza. I'm sorry, whose cronies are going to get in on those contracts?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Final remains of hostages returned to their families. So again, in all of this, what exactly does Israel get?
Nothing.
And Israel has had one goal here, and that is to eliminate Hamas. Nowhere in here do I say anything. Yesterday, this proposal was transmitted by Qatar to Hamas. Today, I want to lay out the terms for the world. By the way, it was noted that right as this proposal that Joe Biden was so excited about put forth, Hamas fired a rocket at Israel.
5 minutes before.
5 minutes before he tweeted that. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're the peacekeepers here. They're the victims. You know, they're just, oh, gosh, and now I'll be honest with you. I am shocked that nowhere in here is a permanent state for the Palestinians, right in the middle of Jerusalem. Right? Tel Aviv, that's theirs now. Just give it to them.
Just give it to them.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Well, and this is this is what the Biden administration has been doing all along. I mean, it's rewarding Hamas. You go in, you kill 1,200 people, and you get stuff.
That's
right.
All all of these protesters have a point. I'm sorry, they're protesting on behalf of the people. You're literally rewarding the terrorists.
Well,
now, even
got an election, Larry. Come on.
Even if you believe that the Palestinian people at this point deserve their own independent state, which, by the way, they basically had. They have basically had self-rule.
Yes.
The only reason that Israel has any sort of presence in or around or at the border of the West Bank and the Gaza territories is because, I don't know, for the last 40 years, they've been trying to murder them. Yep. And they'd be stupid not to have some sort of security presence. But honestly, for the last 15 or so years, they've had the government that they elected, Hamas, and the Palestinian Authority. They elected, and then, of course, the Palestinian Authority stopped all general elections moving forward. Mr. Abbas is now president for life there. These are the totalitarians that are embraced by the political left in America. You know, the ones trying to defend democracy. And hey, if you want to defend democracy in the Middle East, how about you have an election now and again?
It's not just self-rule, Larry. It's the amount, the billions of dollars who have flooded in that they've used to make tunnels and bombs and other weapons of war against the Israelis. They've never developed their country. They've never made it better for their people. Right. They use it all to destroy Israel. Every dollar.
That's right. That's all they do, because that's what they want. And again, so I'll go back to my statement that I was making. Because I lost my train of thought. Even if you think that after all of this, that the Palestinian people deserve their own state with their own political boundaries and, get Israel completely out of their affairs and they have complete autonomy and they deserve the state. Even if you believe that in your heart, now is the worst time to give them that.
Yeah.
Not because you will be rewarding what they did on October 7th.
But they've already said they're going to do it over and over and over again. That's the thing that also bothers me so much about this, is that they have been very clear. We're going to do the same attacks over and over and over again until Israel is gone.
Until every Jew is gone from the river to the sea. Everybody thinks that from the river to the sea. They just say it because it sounds nice and poetic and it rhymes. No, it's a strategy. Yeah. It's a geographic and geopolitical strategy. The river is the Jordan River. The sea is the Mediterranean Sea. And what's in between those two things is Israel.
Lots of Jews.
Idiots. So, listen, I still stand with the people of Israel. I stand with Prime Minister Netanyahu and the IDF. The only way to end this problem is to get rid of Hamas. If Hamas wants this to end right now, they surrender, they put up the white flag, they put down their guns, and they release the hostages.
And to a lot of never-Trumpers out there who claim to be with us on this issue, the only way to accomplish that is to elect Trump.
Yeah.
That's it. You want this stuff? What do you think Biden's going to give he's going to do more of this.
And I know, this is announced as a plan that was proposed by Israel. If in fact Israel is behind or agreeing to this 3-phase plan, it's only because they have been strong-armed and cajoled and pushed by this president and his anti-Israel administration, the most anti-Israel administration I've seen in my lifetime. It's despicable and it's disgusting. And, elections have consequences, so let's make sure this next November's election has major consequences if we can hold out that long. Mike Waltz, Congressman Mike Waltz, will be joining us coming up at 7:35 to discuss this and other issues. It's 6:15 now, WMAL traffic.
WMAL, making sense of education, because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
So as you know, Julie Gunlock, anytime that the mainstream media dares to broach the subject of Joe Biden's age, we recoil in absolute horror and disagreement, because the issue with Joe Biden is, in fact, not his age, right? What is the issue with Joe Biden?
He has mashed potatoes for brains.
He has mashed potatoes for brains, absolutely. At the Free Speech Forum last night, we had a 100-year-old man who is a veteran of World War II, bless his soul, and the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And he was able to speak for about a minute to all of us, and no real distinguishing difference between Joe Biden speaking. It's not as this guy's got 20 years on him.
Yeah.
And saw war. So the problem is not his mashed potato brains, but the White House, regardless of what the root of the problem is, they are now caught red-handed altering the transcripts of Joe Biden's testimony that he gave. You remember Robert Hur? Look at you. You're so beside yourself with this.
I know. I'm so mad.
They get away with everything. We'll of course talk.
With everything. Yes,
it's 7:05. We will talk with Joe Biden about, or excuse me, Joe DiGenova about this. I'd love to talk to Joe Biden
Breaking.
about it. The Robert Hur, the special counsel who oversaw the investigation into Joe Biden's illegal handling of classified documents, decided that he had in fact broken the law, but he wouldn't bring any charges against him because no jury in the world would convict him because he's a feeble man who can't remember when his son died. Mm-hmm. Well, we've been wanting the video and the audio of these interviews. Tom Fitton's been asking through FOIA requests, multiple organizations. They're claiming executive privilege that they don't have and privacy concerns. They've put out the transcript. We gave you the transcripts. What more do you want? Well, now it turns out they have admitted, and they've been caught red-handed, that they altered the transcripts to make him sound more coherent. They've
and
actually...
We've seen this in, we've seen, many examples of this where there'll be a transcript where he'll misspeak or he'll make kind of a fool of himself, right? It'll be one or two words, and then you look back on the transcript and they've altered it. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
Because they want to alter history. But this deposition went on for hours.
Yep.
And they certainly do not want it, because this is the thing, you read a transcript and it's bad, right? All the uhs and ums, and he trails
the stammering,
off.
Yeah.
But my God, the visual. I mean, all of us have seen this when he's up there and he's talking and he sort of trails off, or he makes no sense, or he jumbles his words, or he's not articulate. He doesn't enunciate anymore. It just sounds like one long word.
And he's always slurring. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's when he's reading something. Imagine just going off the top of his head and having to answer questions. And we want to see what Robert Hur saw. Right? Because everybody in the White House came out and said, oh, my God, he's never been sharper. I've never worked with somebody more, more on top of his game, more articulate, more. Okay, well, let's hear the audio then. And they won't really. And by the way, here's the Justice Department's latest, because first they said privacy concerns, then they said executive privilege. Now they say that they don't want to release the audio of Joe Biden's testimony because of concerns of deep fakes set up with artificial intelligence. Are you kidding me?
I mean, honestly, folks, let's just be clear. There's no deep fake in the world that can make Biden look worse.
Right. Because our artificial intelligence requires some level of intelligence. AI can't act this stupid to make him look this bad. Fox News did a great. They compiled 9 corrections that the White House had to make to President Biden's remarks to the NAACP last weekend. Let me give them to you real fast. I will first say what Joe Biden said in the speech, and then I'll tell you what the correction is. Things were kind of bad during the pandemic. He meant recession. We're cracking down on corporate landlords who keep rents down. What he meant to say was to keep rents down. He then said, I'm humbled to receive this organization. He meant award. Donald Trump has said if he loses again in November, there will be, quote, bloodshed, unquote. He meant a bloodbath, which is also, by the way, a deceptive quote. Saving millions of families $800,000 $8,000 a year in premiums. He meant $800. So first it was 800,000, then it was 8,000. He meant 800. It was truly expressing. He meant inspiring. By the way, expressing is not a word. He calls the erectionists. Oh, we've had fun with this one already. He meant insurrectionists.
Frankly, this is something Jake Tapper even does. There's something weird about it.
Yeah. The NAAC spirit endures. He meant NAACP. That's the organization he was speaking to, and the NAACP banners were everywhere, but he couldn't read them properly. It's great to be here with NACAP. For black moms who have nearly 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy complications, he said. I believe he meant to say who are nearly 3 times more likely. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 corrections in a speech that I want to reiterate was prepared for him and written. All he had to do was stand there in the suit and read them.
Good God.
And that's just one example of how they are constantly changing and altering the record, which is fine. Those are his speeches. Who cares? I mean, it is part of public record, and it shouldn't be altered for history books. But this deposition, the fact that they altered the deposition and transcript of his testimony is further reason why we demand to get the video and the audio of this. We're going to get this after he leaves office, Julie, and it is going to be terrifying how bad this guy is behind closed doors.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe DeGenova, 7:05. It's 6:23 right now.
Now,
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:36 now on O'Connor and Company. This is your hourly reminder that a Republican district attorney or attorney general anywhere in this country could put together an indictment of Anthony Fauci quite easily, based on all of the facts that we have at our disposal. Just letting you know, hey, new rules now. You can get creative. They'll call it a novel interpretation of the law. Let's see it. I think a grand jury would love to see this thing get put before them. Just reminding you. Also coming up at 7:05, Joe DeGenova will be here. 7:35, Congressman Mike Waltz. 8:05, Jenny Tare covering the border for the Post. New York Post, that is, the only Post we care about. And at 8:35, Nick Searcy, actor, author, activist, director, all that jazz. I'm Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
I really, really, really want to see those indictments. That said, I know that this song is somehow associated now with Donald Trump's campaign. This is the big song he plays at the end of his rallies. Let's enjoy it. Right? But let's not forget. Let's please not forget. Before Donald Trump appropriated this song for his rallies, this is actually a song about gay men in bathhouses in the 70s meeting other gay men at the YMCA. Because it's Pride Month, people. And we got to celebrate it like no one else can. That's right. Have you noted? Is it now, as Pride Month rolls in here, it used to be Gay Pride Day.
Yep.
Now they got a whole month.
Yeah. And
Do you get a month? I don't get a month.
I do not get a month.
I want a month.
But it's not just that. I mean, there's something like 30-some days and weeks and periods of time that are designated for the LGBTQLMNOP. So it's this. I mean, this is the month, the Pride Month, that celebrates all of them. But there are various and sundry sort of mini prides throughout the year.
Oh, throughout the year, absolutely.
I mean, the most celebrated, group of, so-called oppressed people.
Oppressed and persecuted people. So this is Libs of TikTok. Chaya Raichik points this out every year, and it's just the funniest. She did a side-by-side comparison of the westernized logos for major corporations, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Cisco, Lenovo, and Bethesda Gaming. And they're all just resplendent in rainbow colors, as you can see here. They look beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're fabulous. Look at all the rainbow colors because it's pride, and Cisco is so pride. Except that's on the left side of the graphic. If you look at the right side of the graphic, the very same corporations and their logos, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Cisco, Lenovo, Bethesda, their Middle East Twitter feed.
Yeah.
That they utilize to communicate to their customers in the Middle East. I don't see the rainbows.
None.
I don't.
None.
I thought
Nope.
the gay was universal. I thought the gay was worldwide. I thought it was international. I thought the gay pride was everywhere. Where's the rainbow for the Mercedes-Benz Middle East?
Are queers for Palestine aware that the logo has not been changed?
They gotta be.
They
outraged.
are going to be really disappointed.
Yeah.
Apparently, and this is always. It never fails to be hilarious.
In Philadelphia, the gay pride protesters sort of had a run-in. With the Free Palestine activists. There was a clash. I mean, on the intersectionality scale of the ladder, or is it a pyramid now, of woke priorities, who wins out in this battle royale?
Yeah, I don't know, but it is a clash I have been waiting for. So I was thrilled. Let them fight. Let them fight.
Hundreds of anti-Israel protesters bring Philly gay pride parade to a halt. The Free Palestine protesters blocked the Philly Pride Parade. The showdown took place at the intersection of 11th and Locust Street after the Philly Pride March, and festival kicked off around 10:30 in the morning at Washington Square and headed to the city's Gayborhood section. They call it the Gayborhood. At one point, the anti-Israel crowd screamed, PPP, KKK, IOF, they are all the same. IOF?
I don't know.
IDF? While cops corralled them on one side of the junction, and the Pride Marchers looked on with perplexed and dampened expressions, according to another video posted to X at 12:20. That's the write-up from the New York Post. So,
Look,
boy, talk about a battle of titans there in the streets of Philadelphia. It's like a really bad West Side Story.
This is all we're kind of making jokes here, and it's all very funny. But I really do encourage parents to watch out for how these Pride Month celebrations target kids. And they really do. And I just want to remind people, last year, the city of Alexandria, which, by the way, there was a Pride event this weekend. And I encourage everyone to look at my Twitter feed because I put the pictures up of some of the city officials. Proving that Alexandria is where fashion goes to die, because their Pride get-ups were something to behold. But some
people should not wear horizontal rainbow stripes.
That's right.
There's some fashion do's and don'ts, even if you're celebrating Pride.
We can't even get fashionable gay men in Alexandria. Okay, I mean, he needs to turn his card in. This is Kirk McPike, who's a city council member, and I mean, honest to God, the guy just. He needs that gay makeover show, whatever it's called, because it was really tragic.
Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Yes. But I will tell you that last year, and I haven't seen anything about this year, but they did this kickoff to Pride Month right in the downtown area. And, I mean, they had things for kids at this event, coloring areas.
That's right.
And, drag queen story hour and all sorts of things. And it was very secretive. Like they put in some of the flyers, like, we won't tell your parents, condom giveaways, all this stuff. So I really do encourage us, jokes aside, look out for these things. They really do try to target kids, younger kids nowadays. Not to mention the corporations who are also targeting kids with some of the materials and products that are out there. So this is serious stuff.
Well, it is. And last year you mentioned targeting, and of course Target was really sort of the tip of the spear on promoting this stuff and putting it right in the front of their doors and top of their escalators, and they moved it out in some neighborhoods and stuff. Now it looks like Walmart is all in on it. Ugh. They've got a whole ad campaign. Queer people have magic, it says. Well, that's the other thing that really bothers me, is that it's not just, tolerance and acceptance or what have you, but it's actually this promotion of these people are better. They're special.
Yes.
If you want to be really
lifestyle.
great, you want to be like this. And then there's this T-shirt with rainbow flags, of course, that says, the world has bigger problems than boys who kiss boys and girls who kiss girls. Well, it's funny. That's always how it starts, isn't it? And we do have very big problems.
And then you end up mutilating kids.
There you go. And then you're chopping off parts that make you a boy and make you a girl.
Yeah, funny how
it
that
is.
works.
Be wary out there. It's Pride Month, because pride. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, isn't it? Amongst others. It's 6:40. Well, our executive producer, Heather Hunter, who did a great job last night, of course, at the Free Speech Forum. We love Heather so much. She's the best in the business. But I got to be honest, she's trying to trigger me right now.
And
we throw all of the things that we want to talk about or is on our mind into our show prep document, and then she, picks and chooses which ones at which segment, and she has picked Matt Lewis. Matt Lewis.
Oh, dear God.
He's one of those guys who he used to write a column at the Daily Caller. He used to, and then Trump broke his brain.
Yeah,
and he calls himself, he's one of those people who says, we're the real true conservatives. All the other people are sellouts. I love that we're called sellouts, right?
Right, as I'm sitting here in my Target shoes.
Thank you. You look at every single network, and there is always a never Trump conservative who call themselves the real conservatives who have TV contracts.
Yeah, Steve Hayes and Jonah Goldberg, they left Fox when they got their NBC contract.
That's right.
CNN contract.
NBC and CNN and MSNBC and, Matt Lewis has gone from the Daily Caller to the Daily Beast, you see.
Right.
So Matt Lewis tweeted out this video of Donald Trump saying, here's the video of Trump.
I'll tell you something, though, and it's lock them up. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary. Lock them up.
So that's from a campaign rally, October 2020. lock him up, lock him up. And, of course, that became a rhetorical, rallying cry for the people who feel like there's two tiers of justice in this country, and the Democrats continue to get away with it, right?
Yes, it was a rallying cry, but it was also kind of funny.
Right.
One
it's
thing
funny.
about Matt Lewis and all these Never-Trumpers, they have zero sense of humor.
Yeah, clutching their pearls.
Literal, right?
So Matt Lewis tweets out that video and says, "It's worth noting that Trump was the first president to talk about locking up his opponent and the first to have his team argue that a president could target his political rival and be immune." So I responded to that and I said, yeah, okay, it's also kind of worth noting
yeah.
that when he had the power to do that, Trump determined it would be too divisive. He actually had more judgment than Biden and these guys that Matt Lewis is now carrying water from. And I included a headline. This is from October 26th, or excuse me, November. It's a week after the election, after he won the presidency. Headline at CNBC, Trump on prosecuting Clinton. I think it would be very, very divisive. So he won the election, and he said, yeah, listen, let's move on. The country can't bear it. We shouldn't go through that. It would be too divisive. I think he was wrong. Obviously, in retrospect, he was wrong. Yeah. But this whole rewriting of history, well, the crowds were chanting, lock him up. Yeah, and he had the good judgment not to go ahead with that. Again, I think he was wrong in that judgment, but he literally said it would tear our country apart if we criminally prosecuted Hillary Clinton. And now look at what these people have done to him.
And again, in that moment, Trump was reacting to the crowd that was chanting "lock him up." He's very funny when he reacts to the crowd. He plays the crowd. He loves to react to the crowd. He's so good. We've all seen how he's great on the stump and how he sort of just reacts to people. He reacts to the crowd. And again, the humorless idiots in the Never Trump world they can't see that.
Yeah, well, listen, the lesson here is when we go high, they can't get any lower.
Right.
And so I doubt Donald Trump will make the same judgment if he gets the White House again, and that's what's terrifying them. But good on you, Matt Lewis. Glad you're still out there. It's 6:54.